Hello again, everyone. My name is James Shotwell, and this is Music Biz. It's so good to have you here again. This episode is another edition of our Fast 5 interview series, where I chat with a different music professional about their latest project and what is making it better than the one that came before. And my guest this week is none other than my pal Markus from I Am the Night. Now, if you're unfamiliar, I Am the Night is one of the latest signings to the Svart Records family. They are bringing back 90s black metal. And if that seems like a turnoff for you because you make pop, hip hop, or whatever else, I'm begging you to stay right here. Now, I understand that black metal may not be your favorite genre, but there is something you can learn from Markus's experience bringing I Am the Night to the masses that will help you or your friends in their careers. Markus and I talk in this 5-minute chat about the reason why I Am the Night exists, the motivations for the band, the goals of the band, how they got their deal, and what they're doing to market the record in 2022. Because let me tell you, releasing a 90s themed black metal album in 2022 is not exactly the easiest task, but Markus is making it look pretty simple with his efforts, and we're going to talk about them right now. Okay, we're going to put 5 minutes on the clock right now and start this interview. So right off the bat, the name of the album is While the Gods Are Sleeping. It's probably my favorite title I've heard this year. And for a debut album, it really makes a statement. So can you tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind the album title?
Well, it's my middle life crisis. Like I just turned to 40. I've always been like a big fan of like 90s black metal, like Emperor, Dissection, and this Norwegian and Wave especially. And I've never had the like possibility to do this until now. I did this when I was like younger. I had black metal bands in the 90s, but then I had my another band, Omnium Gatherum, and then Insomnium took my time with melodic death metal. And now when pandemic hit, it was the best timing ever. All the touring was cancelled, so why not to do your pursuit of the youth, to do the nostalgic black metal album, and now it's became like a real band and things are growing and it's great, but it's highly inspired by the old 90s feelings.
Yeah, I was curious. I know your history pretty well, but I'm always interested when somebody who has your history in music starts a new project. I mean, how are you feeling? The album's about to come out here in a couple of weeks. I Am the Night is the name of the group. You've been in music forever, but how does it feel to kind of be launching this new project officially? I know that you've been around, it's been around for a minute, but this is the debut album. Like, are you nervous? Does it feel the same as it did when you were a young artist? How's it feeling?
No, this has been really easy project, and this kind of was born by really naturally with like friends, and always wanted to do this kind of music. I knew exactly what kind of music I want to do for this project, and I knew that I want to get like a Necrolord making the cover artwork and Christopher Speichel doing the logo, because those were the guys in the 90s when Markus was watching like all these black metal albums, and I kind of made this album for little Markus. So I think the 16-year-old version of me would love this album, and that's how I kind of took my vision to make this album. So
I love that. I think that I actually had a question here to ask you about how you're feeling about the material and how young Markus would feel about it. So I think that it's so important for artists to do things that make them happy, especially the further you get into your career. It can be harder and harder, I find, to do the thing that you think will make you happy because you start to think about it as a business. And I love that this project feels like you don't care about that part. You're like, I need to do this for me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care about the business side. I know black metal is really like a tough scene. So most of the real black metal guys will hate because this melodic death metal guy like me is going to their territory, but I don't care. I don't care at all. So this is
it definitely seems like the people at Svart feel the same way as they're putting out the record. How did they take it when you first presented the album? I mean, this is an old school black metal record. Were they all about it?
Yes, they were immediately. I was quite surprised. Like there was a lot of labels wanting to release this album. So I think there's a lack of 90s black metal at the moment in the metal scene. But Svart record guys immediately contacted me and said that they are huge fans of like 90s black metal. They love Emperor and all this stuff, and that's why it felt a really natural choice for this album, because the guys were really into the music and not just like a, and it was important for me to this project that It's a project of love.
we got just over a minute left here. I wanted to ask you, promoting a black metal album, especially one that's seen so heavily in the 90s and 2022, that is a curious proposition. So as you've been talking with Svart, you have the Freeman Promotions team behind you. How are you getting the word out of, like, what are you finding that's helping you get the word out about I Am the Night? I mean, I know black metal heads know it, but for everyone else, what's working promotion wise?
Well, I hope the music will speak by itself, and fans of my other bands will find this project. And it's weird to promote 90s black metal in social media and YouTube. And we didn't have all this stuff. In the 90s, it was like fanzines, and bands were mysterious because you couldn't find any information about the bands. So I think that was really cool in the 90s, but we've lost that in the modern world. So here we are promoting the album.
One last thing before we run out of time here, real quick. If you had to tell somebody about I Am the Night that's never heard the band before and is not that familiar with 90s black metal, what's your elevator pitch? What's like your real quick 10, 15-second pitch for why we should listen to I Am the Night?
It's soundtrack to the nightly storms.
I love that. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. We just hit the 5-minute mark. You did great.
Thank you, man.
That was pretty great, right? I want to thank Markus for taking the time to talk to me, and I want to thank John Freeman of Freeman Promotions for setting up the interview. I Am the Night's debut album, While the Gods Are Sleeping, arrives May 6th through Svart Records. If you are in Finland and have the chance to see them live, absolutely do so. The same goes for Europe. We're going to hope they get to the States. There's nothing planned just yet, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. As always, I am your host, James Shotwell, and this is Music Biz. You can watch us on YouTube or on Spotify, and you can listen to the show everywhere that you get podcasts. I'll be back soon, but until next time, take care of yourself, because you deserve it.